Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I'd like to have Charles Alvarez on. He's with a great company, Cornerstone Business Academy.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to think about that. It feels like Monday, even though it's Tuesday. CornerstoneBusinessAcademy.com. Great company helping business owners and entrepreneurs, C-level individuals take their company to the next level. Has worked a lot with our firm, and I've been delighted with the great work that he does for us. It's amazing what systems can do in terms of taking companies to the next level. And then your guest and our mutual guest is Bill Frazer, and he is running for city controller, and that's Frazer, F-R-A-Z-E-R, for controller.com. He's a CPA, great citizen, great neighbor here in Houston, a gentleman with decades, almost a half a century. You don't want me to say that.
No.
You're still saying 4 decades, but I hate to tell you what comes after that, buddy. But 4 decades of experience in keeping people in the right stead financially. And and today what we're going to talk about is how out of the right stead the city of Houston is, and that they probably really need someone with serious fiduciary credentials to tackle it. Welcome, Bill.
Hey, well, thanks for having me, Kevin. I appreciate you bringing me on board.
Absolutely. Would you have a first question for our guest, Charles?
Yeah. So it sounds like having somebody who has an actual reputation or some type of a degree in accounting might be helpful for this type of position. Why would that be? Or why would that not be? In other words, what good is it to have a 41 years of background in CPA do for a city controller?
Well, just to start with, the city has lots of financial issues that it's facing right now. And we've never really had, at least in the past 4 years, any financial management experience at the helm at the city controller's office. We've had some controllers who have financial background. I believe Mayor Parker had some. And then Kathy Whitmire was a CPA as well. But other than that, there really hasn't been any professional accounting experience or financial management experience in that job.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's kind of become just another stepping stone politically, isn't it? You're particularly with the fact that you're 3 terms and out in Houston city government. Okay, I'm now on the city council. I need to run for something. This job's available. I'm going to run for it.
Right, and I'm not a politician. I've never run for public office before. I'm doing this because I can bring unique experience to the job. So I'm attacking this as a way to help the city get its finances straightened out.
Yeah, interesting. And what would you say is the single biggest problem facing the city? People have this attitude about Houston being an economic Shangri-La, but on the fiduciary area of the city, Houston's got some serious problems that are actually Chicago-esque and Detroit-esque, and I don't think people realize that.
Yes. First, the Houston area is growing. We've got a great economy in the area. There's 6.5 million people, but the city itself is only 2.2 million people, and it's in the center of all this economic growth. And it's struggling. It's struggling because the major problem is its pension issues. But we had problems before the pension issues. The pension issues were a result of the city trying to delay some expenses and push them out into the future. And we just kept delaying, first with the issuance of $600 million of pension obligation bonds back in the mid-2000s. We haven't paid a dime on those principal on those bonds. And then we've gone to just delay other required payments in our pension system. So we built up about $1.6 billion in pension obligations. But we've got some other issues as well.
Yeah, very good. Charles?
So regarding that issue, how would you go about attacking that issue and bringing a solution to it?
Well, I view it as a community issue. I think we need to do a full court press and get everybody in the community, not just the mayor, not just the city council, but our business leaders, our civic leaders, our community leaders, and sit down with the union leaders and try to arrive at a solution. I view it as a dual issue, a compensation issue, because it's not just the pension benefits. I keep hearing police and firefighters say, well, that was a trade-off that we were given in lieu of pay increases in the past. And that may be true, but we need to study that issue. And then we also need control over the issue. Right now, the state legislature controls every aspect of our pension system.
Yeah. Yeah, and people, I just don't think people see how dire it is. You showed me some startling charts that showed that, again, it was very comparable to some of the worst, fiscally, some of the worst cities in the country.
Yes.
And in fact, some cities that we would perceive as being in worse shape are in better shape than Houston. Give a couple of examples.
Well, Los Angeles, for instance,
Los Angeles is better than Houston
yeah.
in pensions?
Yeah. So now, in fairness, Los Angeles has a very high tax rate. I would be opposed to solving this problem with raising taxes. I think raising taxes hurts people. So
and it not only hurts people, it hurts economies. One of the reasons why Los Angeles has become a less attractive place to live in, a city, that people are leaving, is because of the tax environment. One of the reasons why Houston is a place that's attracting so many people is because of our tax situation. But our fiscal situation has to match up with reality.
Right. And let me give you an example. There's some office buildings downtown whose appraised values have doubled. Now they've gone to protest those appraisals. I think they've been lowered. But if you take a $200 million office building and you double its appraisal in order to solve an issue, that's a $5 million additional property tax bill they have to pay. Mm-hmm. And $5 million, just think of the number of jobs that could be lost through that. So raising taxes is not the issue. I can point out to you that the city's revenues year over year for the last 10 years has increased greater than the rate of inflation plus population.
Yeah.
So what we have is not so much a revenue issue as we have a spending issue.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Charles?
So if we wanted to find out more information about you and kind of what you stand for and kind of get some comparisons between you and your opponent, where can I go to find that information?
Well, first you can go to my website, FrazerForController.com. That's FRAZER forcontroller.com. And you can call me at 713-429-1773, and I'd be happy to take your questions. And my email address is bill@FrazerForController.com.
Yeah, FrazerForController.com. Make sure you check that out. Bill Frazer. I tell you, I'm looking for someone in this position that, first of all, realizes that having someone in your position versus the current person who's in there who basically rubber stamps and validates what the mayor does, it creates accountability for the mayor that otherwise isn't getting it. It's almost like a check for the mayor that otherwise wouldn't be there, especially with our city council. I wish someone would run for city council and with the idea of getting rid of almost every single district-wide seat and having them all regional seats, because really it's redundant representation only designed to validate and empower the mayor. It really is a form of taking away representation from the voters. But because of that, we need someone who's going to hold them accountable, someone like yourself.
Right, and I'm focusing in on representing the taxpayers citywide. I'm not running for any other office in the future. I'm focusing on the controller's race to represent the taxpayers, and then to work with city council and the mayor to come up with some reasonable solutions to our problems. But it's first and foremost representing the taxpayers.
Yeah, we need to. I hope someone's out there is listening. A great platform would be to get rid of at-large seats. Yep. I don't understand at-large seats. They were developed for the purpose. I think they started in San Francisco, of all places. They were developed for the purpose because there's these little regions that were driving them nuts to make sure that they could just overpower representation in neighborhoods. And I would love to see an end to at-large seats. A mayor and then several different districts there so you have true representation in City Hall. But you know what? We need someone to hold this current mayor accountable. Bill Frazer for Houston City Controller, FrazerForController.com. Thanks for being our guest.
Thank you again.
Yep. And, of course, again, Charles Alvarez and CornerstoneBusinessAcademy.com. Thank you, too.
My pleasure, Kevin. Always good being with you.
You bet. When we come back, more for you, and you're listening to The Price of Business.